we have our best practices across our social platforms. I love getting into this because it's some of the fun of, I think, working in social and trying to understand what units work best or what tactics we can do to kind of maximize our campaigns. So if we go on to the next slide, you'll see here that we focus on Facebook and Instagram. I like to kind of lump them a little bit into the same. I mean, obviously, same playing field under the Uncle Zuckerberg's family of social media. We've also decided to talk about TikTok and Pinterest today. There are commonalities between all this, and we get into some of this in the presentation as well. One of the things that's important here within Facebook is to understand to be designing for mobile first. You know, with the exception of platforms such as Reddit and LinkedIn, which have like a little more of a desktop to mobile ratio, a lot of the other platforms you're seeing you're running like 80-90% of people are accessing them on their mobile devices, right? So not only Facebook, but all these platforms, mobile first is like a constant, no matter what, have the mobile user in mind. Facebook, we're noticing for the holiday seasons that you want to have personalized moments and experiences kind of that people may have missed out on. This makes perfect sense, right? We're seeing these adopted as trends. I mean, you know, the holiday season last year was completely different than this year. People are kind of emerging out into the world again, you know, and hanging out with people. So we're really kind of hitting that emotional psyche of people. Instagram, obviously, keep it native to the ad unit. Bespoke creative is important in Instagram. In other words, just make sure that like you're creating towards the unit itself. So there's certain dimensions and certain ways that you would view a story versus the way that you would view an in-feed ad. Keep that in mind as you're creating. TikTok, again, mobile, make sure you're shooting vertical video, and leaning into trends is huge in TikTok. We see it, I think TikTok is one of the most like hotbeds of trendy kind of social things these days. So if you can lean into those as a brand and you can do it very well, that's a huge help. Also leveraging micro influencers, which are these influencers that don't have, say, 30,000, 50,000 followers, or maybe they have like 10,000 followers, or, not the Kim K's of the world, but somebody with still a lot of clout. It also kind of helps you, it helps gain a sense of like earnest, nature to your brand, I guess. And this is an important thing. Pinterest, visual formats, lots of ad formats. Pinterest actually is hitting the customer journey at every stage these days. I think Pinterest will see as a major player more and more. They're going through a potential acquisition with PayPal right now, which will gain them a lot of trust and just kind of clout in the social sphere. And then, think about people going to Pinterest, right? So they use Pinterest at every stage from the inspiration to the actual purchase point. So we can actually inspire action by using units such as their collection ads within the platform. So, as I mentioned here, there's multiple commonalities, right? So these best practices, again, make sure that you're designing with mobile in mind. And then use this what's called performance-led creative. So, as your targeting pools are shrinking, you can't necessarily rely on maybe hitting an outlier that like ended up in your targeting pool. You really want it to have your messaging, have your ad format, and have your creative focused and drilled right down to your target audience. So again, since granular targeting is impacted, we want to make sure that we're focusing on this throughout the holiday season. Two other things that we can take into mind as we go through this. Is to use immersive experiences, right? So this is such as Facebook's instant experience unit, which is literally almost like a microsite that keeps the activity native to the platform. And this is important because you're reducing friction and kind of creating a seamless experience. You can also use Pinterest collections to make sure that you're keeping the ad unit and the experience native. I like this because from a media perspective, you can turn around and then use this to create engagement custom audiences within your mid funnel and bring people down to the lower funnel. So in other words, people that are interacting and engaging with your ad, you can harness them, take hold of them, and then keep kind of marketing to them. And again, think about togetherness and connection as holiday themes for 21. So make sure that your experiences are kind of like personalized and customer centric. So these are some best practices and trends that you can lean into throughout the holiday season.